Good morning, students. So, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello. So, from that side, whatever the voice I am receiving is not proper. Here in this college system, I have this problem. But whether it is clearly audible from me, and if you want to convey anything to me, you can use the chat box. Okay. So, let me start the class. Last class we have seen we are discussing about the exception, right? So we have seen what is exception, what is exception handling, and how we can handle the exception. What are the tools or what are the ways we can handle exception in Java? Okay. So for attendance, enter your register number and name. Okay. So this is what we have till now we discussed, and the ways we can handle Java exceptions in Java will be using a try catch pair, and we know why try block is used and why catch block is used. Okay. Try block will contain the code in which an exception may occur, and catch block will tell you what type of, or you will get to come to know what the description of the exception. And also exception class hierarchy we have seen, and why we require exception handling also just we have discussed, right? So different try catch variants we have seen, that is a single try block can be followed by multiple catch blocks. Okay. And a nested try also we can use. And the next what we have, the other two ways will be throw and throws. Okay. And that is whereas try catch and throws are implicit way of handling the exception, where throw is an explicit way of handling the exception. So that's what the major thing. And we have seen the difference between throw and throws also. So now, generally, the exception handling block will be in Java is try block followed by catch block, and it is followed by a finally. Okay, but using finally is optional. So today we will see what is the use of finally block, and then we'll see how we are using user defined exception. Okay. So in exception we have seen there will be it is built-in exceptions only categorized into checked exception and the unchecked exception. Checked exceptions are the one like the error will be checked at the compile time. Okay. So example will be file opening, database connection and network connection. Okay. And IO exceptions. These are all the checked exceptions. Whereas unchecked exceptions are the one which may occur while executing the program. So that is what the few we have discussed will be what. Um, that is division by zero, arithmetic exception, and array index out of bound exception, null pointer exception, class not found exception, no, not class, null pointer exception. So these are the exceptions which are unchecked. They may occur at the runtime that we have to handle through the try catch block. Okay. So that is what we have said. Now how we can customizing. Okay. Or how we can define our own exception. That is what the way to declare or the process to declare the user defined exception. Then we will move on to the packages. Okay. Packages are lot we have to learn. A simple example and a simple step we will study today, and by tomorrow I will see what will be the left out things, or in what are the ways we can create a package, and what are the things we have to focus on package. Okay. So the by tomorrow we are going to conclude the third module. Okay. Let me move to the slides now. Okay. So is the PPT visible? Hello? Hello? So I'm not going to get. Hello, is the PPT visible? Just answer me so that I can continue. Hello, students. Because from your side, I don't know what is the problem. I'm not getting the audio. This happens here. Hello. Okay, I'll myself log in from mobile and I'll check. Okay, so if it is visible, so, first we'll see what is the use of finally class, right? So it is that try block followed by catch block, and we have a finally block. Why that finally block is used is it contains all the crucial statements that must be executed whether exception occurs or not. Okay, so this block is called as optional because we know that when an exception is occurred properly, then the statements followed by the catch block will obviously executed. Okay, but even that is what exception handling is. But if that exception occurs, we are terminating that into a normal what is that normal termination. But even though exception occurs or not, we want to execute some statements. Okay, so that option is fulfilled through this finally block. So in a try block, whether the exception with the inside a try block, whether the exception occurred or not, whatever the statements are written inside the finally block, that will be executed. Okay, and the finally block always follows the try catch block. Okay, and finally block is a block used to execute important code such as closing the connection, etc. That means why what is the use of this finally block is like whenever you have dealing with the files, you might have opened so many files for read and write operations. Okay, so that one if you have not in between after the opening of the files, if you are not closed, that may cause some errors and other things. That is why in a finally block, the connection termination code you will write. Okay, so even though the program may have some exceptions or the errors, then the closing of whatever the devices you will use will be written. Okay, will be executed. So that is the need of using a finally block. So that is why it is an optional block. So because we have other type, like other way that we can handle these statements, which will be very useful even though the exception is occurred or not. Somehow in a programming we can use it, but if you are, it is safe that if you put that in a finally block, it will be always executed. Okay, so finally is an optional block. It is followed by a try. Without try block you cannot write a finally block, right? So it is to be followed by try and catch block, and the statements in the inside the finally block will be executed regardless of the occurrence of the exception. Okay, the syntax is this. This is what basic syntax of handling an exception using a try catch block, whereas finally is an optional block. So try, you know that the statements which may cause error or an exception to be included in this block. And catch is what action needs to be taken when an error occurs, or the description of the error. That type of statements we will include in the catch block. And in finally, what type of statements will include? The statements which are very necessary to be executed, whether an error occurs or not in a program, that type of statements is to be written here. Okay. And the necessity or the importance of finally block is we usually include connection closing and file closing, database connection closing, that type of statements in the finally block. So the one example is given here. What is that? So in a try block, we have taken num by num. 120 by 0. So that means what? An exception occurs. So in a catch block, when an exception occurs, this will be executed. And then finally, we have written executes always. How this program is to be tested? If instead of whenever it is 0, an exception occurs, at that time also the statement inside the finally block will be executed. Okay. Instead of 0, if I have written something here 100 or something, then what? An error will not be executed. Catch block statements are not executed, but still the statements inside the finally block will be executed. So that is what this example will explain. The same we will see when we'll run the same program. Okay. Next is what? So what will be the character or what we should follow? This is what a finally block must be associated with a try block. It has not got any independent existence. Similarly, same as that of the catch block also. And finally, block is optional. You may have to write it or you may not be using it. Okay, if you are doing something with the file or you have a database connectivity, then using of finally block will be useful. Okay, next we have an example of defining custom exception. What do you mean by customizing? Customizing is the one like whenever they have given something to you. Okay, so some tool or some material to you, you will adjust that for your requirement. Okay, so like what like in a Java, we have built-in exceptions, that is checked and unchecked exceptions are provided. That will be by considering what type of errors or general errors may occur. These exceptions are written and this is provided by the Java. But I will write my own programs and I may have my own type of errors. Then how I have to handle it? Okay, so that may not be possible like using this built-in exceptions. At that time, you may have to write your own exceptions. So that is what it is a custom exceptions or it will be user-defined exceptions. So for my program, I will write my exceptions. For example, you are written a database table. There you have taken register number, name, and date. Okay, IA marks, everything. So in a date, you have given the format as date, month, year. Okay, so somebody uses the other format like month, day, year. So then what it is a format mismatch. Okay, that is what a entry error you will have in your program. So obviously you can write your own exception to handle whether the entered data format is proper or not. And the similar way when you will enter a marks, so it should be in between 0 and 40 if it is an IA marks, right? So like if you have written negative or greater than 40, then it must not accept that input. So in a database application, you have created a form and you are entering field validation is very, very important. At that time, to handle that, you can raise the exception for every field validations. And you may have your way of calculating the what is that percentage and the grade and whatever it is. That is what we'll call business logic. So something may occur inside that. At that time, you may have to raise your own type of error. So this is the need of writing the user defined exceptions. Okay, so that is what is custom exception? That is creating our own exception is known as custom exception or the user defined exception. Okay, our own exception classes of the except our own exception classes. Sorry, here I have missed a keyword. Our own exceptions are the extended classes of the exception class, because we know in an hierarchy we have the exception at the top, right? So then all the other exceptions are derived from that general class, right? So whenever I will write my own exception, it should be a extended or a derived class of the superclass exception. Okay, it can be invoked using throw keyword. That is what throw you we have seen. It is used to handle the errors, user defined errors. Okay, and it is related to an instance of that class. Okay, customizing the errors. That is why the one of the use of the throw keyword. That is yesterday I have shown you with the command line arguments how in an exception class it is not handling that error, but using a throw keyword I have created an instance of that exception class, and if the command line arguments are not parsed, it is going to give me an error message. So like that, customizing the errors can be handled using the throw keyword. So whenever you are defining your own exception, you can invoke that using the throw keyword. Okay, so that is what about the creation of our own exception. Okay, I have the example here, not included in this slide. When we will execute that program, what is the way of creating a user defined exception. Okay, so that we will see. Okay, so one you have to remember what is that whenever you are creating your own exception, it should be a derived class of the exception class. Next is what? Package. So what is the package? Okay, we will conclude exception and we'll come back to the package. Okay, so two programs I have to show. Okay, so this is an example of finally. Okay, so what is here? What I have written here? Okay, here we have an example like what? Public class. Okay, this is the class name. Here in a try block, just I have taken number 200 divided by 5 and I have given a message like this number is printed if it is in a try block. So everything is fine, no exception or no error occur. Then I'm going to get this as the output. So if an error occur here like division by 0, then the message inside the print line inside the cache block will be executed. And whether see either I am going to get the print statement inside a try block if no error occurs. If an error occurs, I'm going to get a statement of the catch block. But since I'm used here finally block, whether uh, exception occurs or not, always I'm going to get the print statement which is inside the finally block. Okay. So now in line number 18, I have given 200 by 5. So obviously everything is fine. It will divide that number. So inside the try block, whatever the statement I have given, that will be executed. After that, the cursor will skip to the line number 16 and whatever the statement I have written inside finally, that will be executed. Okay. So this is, we have to see that whether exception occurs or not, always say statements inside the finally block will be executed. So now I'm going to get inside try block and this statement. Okay. So exception not occurred, still the statements inside the finally block will be executed. So now what I have to do, I have to change this value to 0. So now what will happen? Exception occurs. Obviously it will be catch arithmetic exception. Okay. So instead of arithmetic, I can give exception. So any type of exceptions will be handled there. So now I'll execute what are the statements I'm going to get as the output inside the catch block and the finally block. So that you will get that what a exception occurs or not, the statements inside the finally block will be executed. Okay, so now I am going to get this statement and this statement. Okay, so this is a simple example of using of the finally block, and without that also we can get that it is an optional block, right? Next we have what? Custom exception. Okay, so in a custom exception, what is this program is describing is whenever you are creating your own exception, it should extend the base class exception. Okay, so this program I have written to check that if the marks entered, okay, marks entered is either the negative number or the greater than 40, then exception occurs. Okay, so for that only this exception has been written. So for that, an exception class has been written in which what we have class the name of the exception field validate. So it is extending the base class exception. Okay. So then a constructor is written. So in which this value is passed. Okay. Whatever the number you have accepted, that will be passed and that will be copied to this variable. Then it has to say that is to describe this exception, we have this value. Okay, to describe that what type of exception has occurred, it has been written. Okay, another function string is written. What is that? Whatever is returning value, that will be converted into toString. the return type will be string. So here the description of the exception has been written in. Okay, what is that? Exception occurred because of wrong IA marks entry, and whatever the marks you have entered will be associated with this. So whatever is this is converted, and a string will be written here. Okay, whenever this exception is invoked, you are going to get this message. So this is what two functions are written. Whenever you will call this exception, your this constructor will be invoked, and you have to pass this value. Okay, so that is how a user defined exception will be written. So this value is stored in the class variable, and in another function that variable value is printed. That is only to get you what has happened, what IA value you have written. Okay, otherwise if you have not printed this, you are only going to get this message. So what whenever you are defining your own exception, this is the name of field validate is the name of user defined exception. So user defined exception should extend the exception class. That is why it is a derived class of the base class exception. Next, how to use our own user defined exception. We have already created now. How to use that? So in a main program, what we have, I have taken IA, and I have written IA is equal to 55. Okay, that is obviously greater value I have assigned. So next, what we have, when if this IA value is less than 0 or it is greater than 40, then I'm giving here like a print my error message. So whenever the IA value is not valid, an error may occur. That is why I have put that inside a try block. Okay. Then I am invoking my exception like throw new field value. Whatever IA value I have accepted, that value I have sent to this. So what will happen here? What will happen here? Field validate IA. So whatever value you have sent, that will be assigned to the constructor. Okay, and this is what you are going to get the message inside the catch block. So you have created a catch block in which an instance of this field validate and system out println exception you are printing. So which function is invoked here? This function is invoked, and you are going to get the message. Without this constructor also we can do that. Field validate only we can call, and null constructor will be called. Okay, I'll show you that. Okay. uh, uh, so now since I have assigned 555, I'm good. Okay, I'll change this value to 155. So run this. uh, Print my error message, exception occurred because of wrong IA marks entry 155. Okay, you have entered 155. So if I enter this only, I'm not going to get any message now. Okay, because I have entered a proper thing. So inside a try block, if I give something else, then valid IMRs entry like this print statement, if I give, it will execute. Now I'll give negative number. Now this condition will become true. So you will enter into this if block, and you are going to get whatever the value you have entered. Print my error message, exception occurred because of wrong IMAX entry -15. Okay, you can see still simplify it. This constructor is not required. To get what value you have entered, this is important. Otherwise, you have this only. Okay, so this why it is this one here. Okay, so it is showing so much error. Illy, why this? Okay, Illy, what is this error? I check unexpected end of comment. Here it is. Okay. So now even though you have not written, automatically a null pointer exception will come, right? Null binary. Okay, so now see, I have not sent anything. I have to remove this because This value either you will get 0. Okay, I have not sent any. I will not get what value I have entered, but I will get this message. Exception occurred because of wrong IMAX entry. Okay. So the if I run this, print my error message exception because of wrong IMAX entry. Even since to the exception I have not sent any value, right? And I have not sent any value, so that is why it is not initialized and printed. Okay. So the same message I can get for a different type of things like what is another one I can do here? Uh, one more try you can take. Day you can write here. Try. Okay, I will take here int d is equal to 32. I'll give. So now what you will have if okay, let's take this. Okay, so one more here why I have written two tries. Yeah, why it is okay. So what I'll do, I'll remove this try. Okay. So now I'm getting here, but like any of the field validation occurs, this I can invoke the field validation exception. Okay, so that is how return exception occurred because of wrong IMAX entry. I then because of field invalid field entries I can give because of invalid entry. Okay, so this is what I have this one. Okay, so since I have given D32, when this one is proper, it will check this one. Run this. So print my exception occurred because of invalid field entry. field validation exceptions. So since I have given here inside this message, this finally it has been written. Okay, it is mandatory. It is not necessary. So either for this or this it will occur. So the different constructors you can write. Since it is a yum, you can write here. Instead of two string, you can have int and you can respective functions you can include. Okay. So if that type of example is possible, I'll show you that. So so simple user defined example you can give this. Okay, you can that just I've shown like how for a business logic we can include the exceptions, or you can retain this much to explain a simple user defined exception. So what I mean to say is you can write different constructors like this is integer value, one more is a string value, one more is a integer and string value, and the return type string, or you can have int and two int are respective functions, and you can give respective error messages for the different fields in a user defined exception only, or you can write different classes for each field of your table. Okay, so like that your business logic you can handle. So how many you can, it is possible to write in one class that you can write, or you can write different classes for each of the field or your business logic, so that you can use in a main program, so that whatever the data you have entered will be, you can change the validity of that data. Okay, so using Swing, if you have created a form and you are entering the values, so at that time for here to check the field validation, either you can use the business logic while entering only you have to check and you have to give the proper error messages, or you may have to write the exceptions for that values. Okay, that depends on you how you are going to program it. So that is the need of defining the custom exceptions. Okay. So this is what all we have known, the basics of the exception. Okay. Anything else you people may be knowing more than this? Anything we have left out? So we are just seeing what is exception, what are the types of exceptions in Java, that is checked and unchecked, and what is exception handling, what is the need of exception handling, and what is the basic block of handling the exception, that is the try catch you can include finally, which is an optional block, and using throw and throws keyword. These are the ways we can handle the exception, and in the situation where we are using these will be different, or our requirement, and the suitable requirement we are going for different options. And try catch block we have the variant like try followed by multiple catch blocks, and then what we have, uh, nested try blocks we have, and what is the difference between throw and throws. Okay, so then how we can use user defined exceptions. Okay, these are the things we have studied about the exception. Any other thing you know, or you have any doubts regarding that? What will be the total strength, and what is this? Kishan, where is Kishan? Kishan, are you there? Kishan? Krutika?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now we will move on to the packages. And before that, what I'll do, I'll take the attendance. Okay, answer your attendance. Aishwarya,
Present, ma'am.
Aishwarya A,
Present, ma'am.
Aishwarya A,
Yes, ma'am.
present idira. Aishwarya
Yes,
SR,
present, ma'am.
Akash, Amruta,
Yes, ma'am.
Anusha,
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ.
ಅಮೃತ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್. ಹಾಂ, ಅನುಷಾ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜೋರಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಿ, ಆಡಿಬಲ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, ಹಂಗಾಗಿ. ಅಮೃತ, ಓಕೆ. ಅನುಷಾ, ಭೂಮಿಕಾ, ಭೂಮಿಕಾ, ಚಂದನ್, ಚಂದನಾ ಕೇಸಿ, ಧನುಶ್ರೀ, ದಿವ್ಯಾ, ಯಶಸ್ವಿನಿ,
ಎಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಜೀವನ್, ಕೀರ್ತನಾ,
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಕೀರ್ತನಾ,
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಕಿಶನ್, ಕಿಶನ್, ಕೃತಿಕಾ,
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಕೃತಿಕಾ,
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಲತಾ,
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್.
ಲೀಲಾ,
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಓಕೆ. ಮಧುರಾ,
ಎಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಮಧುರಾ,
ಎಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಮಲ್ಲಿಕಾರ್ಜುನ, ಮಂದಾರ, ಮೇಘನಾ,
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಕೀರ್ತನ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್.
ಮೇಘಶ್ರೀ, ಮುಕ್ತಪ್ರಿಯ, ನಾಗಶ್ರೀ ಕಾಮತ್, ನಮ್ರತಾ,
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ನಸೀಂ, ನವ್ಯಶ್ರೀ, ಪಲ್ಲವಿ ಎಸ್ಎನ್, ಪಲ್ಲವಿ, ಪೂಜಾ ಸಿಪಿ, ಪೂಜಾ ಎಂಎಂ, ಪ್ರಮೋದ್ ಕುಮಾರ್,
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಪ್ರತೀಕ್ಷಾ, ಸಂಗೀತ,
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಸಂಜನಾ,
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಸಂಜನಾ,
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಶ್ವೇತಾ ಎಸ್,
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್
Present,
ಸಂಜನಾ
ma'am.
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್.
ಯಾರು ಸಂಜನನಾ?
ಎಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಶ್ವೇತಾ,
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಸ್ಫೂರ್ತಿ,
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಸುಜನ್, ಸುಮಂತ್, ಸುಪ್ರಿಯಾ ಎಸ್ ಎಸ್,
ಎಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಸುಪ್ರಿಯಾ ಆರ್, ಸುಷ್ಮಾ ವೈಎಸ್,
ಎಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಸ್ವಾತಿ,
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ವೈಭವಿ,
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಕೃತಿಕಾ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್.
ವಿಕಾಸ್, ವಿನಯ್, ಓಕೆ.
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಹೇಳಿ, ಯಾರು?
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಕೃತಿಕಾ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಯಾರು?
ಕೃತಿಕಾ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್.
ಕೇಳ್ಸಲ್ಲ
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್
ಇಲ್ಲಿ,
ಸಂಜನಾ
ಚಾಟ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್.
ಹಾಕಿ.
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್
ಯಾರು
ಕೃತಿಕಾ
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್?
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್. ಕೃತಿಕಾ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಕೃತಿಕಾ.
ಯಾರು?
ಕೃತಿಕಾ.
ಕೃತಿಕಾನಾ?
ಹಾ.
ಓಕೆ.
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಕೀರ್ತನಾ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್.
ಹಾ, ಚಾಟ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹಾಕಿ. ಕೃತಿಕಾ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್. ಮತ್ಯಾರು?
ಕೀರ್ತನಾ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
Okay, I have put Kritika present, okay? Okay, so now we will move on to the packages. Okay. So, a Java package is a group of similar types of classes, interfaces, and sub-packages. Okay. So, like you have used import java.io, but java.utility, right? Java.awt, java.lang. So, in that, different methods are defined and different classes are defined, different interfaces are present. So all those we are able to use in our program. Okay, so that is what a package means. um, uh, that is why it is a facility user that is it already built in we are using. So we can also define our own packages. So it is a collection of similar type of classes, interfaces, and sub packages. Okay. The packages which are available in Java will be what built-in packages. The example is what lang, java.lang we have used, AWT, Swing, and net, IO, utility, and SQL. These are some of the built-in packages what we are using. In a similar way, we can customize the package, like our own package also we can create. Okay, so that is what the thing. Why we require packages? What is important? Like what it is used to categorize the classes and interfaces so that they can be easily maintained. So, like in Java.lang, we have what how to read. Conversions and input output reading things, built-in conversions like that, similar type of operations are available. Whereas in Swing, what we have, how to create the user screen, like the button, label, and checkbox. Okay, all the properties like how their height, width, color, and text, that the properties can be what that properties can be set. So all the type of methods are available. That is what categorized. So when certain type of same operations I have to perform on something, so then that type of things are put in a same package. Okay, so that is what to categorize such type of operations we require a package. Okay, either in a class we can do, or we can write it, or we can use the interfaces. Okay, that is what it is a collection together. And Java package provides access protection. So this is what we have seen. We have three, like a private, protected, and public. So how the variables which are declared in this mode, when they are importing into somewhere else where their access is possible. Okay, so that is what also we have to see in this. Okay, then Java package removes naming collision. So like what in one package, like library functions, what you are using in C dot H. So they so many functions are available, right? So their string reverse, if you are using their built-in function is available, and you can in your program also, if you are written string reverse, then there will be a collision of the function, same name. User-defined function name is same as that of the built-in function name, and both you are using in a single program, then there will be a name collision. So in a package also, if you are in that user defined package, or in your program you have written one function name and you have imported in on one package where same function is used, still through that package name you are able to use that function. Okay, so that is how you are removing the naming collision. Okay, we will see that all these things. Okay, generally it is you can say like it is just like a header file in a C dot h. String dot h is having all the operations which are related to string, like extracting, creating a string, extracting, and reversing uppercase, lowercase, and finding out the length. Okay, reversing it, so many string related operations are under string dot h. Okay, in C++ if we come, it is a class. So in a class, all the type of operations will be put. So now it is a package. It is containing not only the classes and the methods, but also the interfaces, extended hierarchy, and everything. Okay. So that will be inside a package. So that is still most improved thing. Like all the facilities or the things which are available in Java all together will be put in one name, and that will be your written, and that will be imported in different programs. Okay. String.h is a library, and that in every C program, whatever the different C program you can write, there if you include that, you are able to use all the methods available in that header file. So like that, a package is written, and a set of operations, functions, and related things you will put, and it will be imported in other Java programs. Okay, so that is what they think. This is what. So while since you are importing it in using in different ways, different programs, if it is a protected, if it is declared protected or private or public, how their access is controlled, that is what also we have to study. And naming collision, as since we are using all the functions associated with the name of the package, even though same names are available, they are different, they are differented by their like what the package name. So like everybody, like register number 25. Okay, if I say, so 25 is available in MCA first sem, second sem, third sem. Okay, and also first year, second year, and third year, and in all the branches 25 is common. But how it is differentiated? 4JN is also common, but how it is differentiated by the branch name, like IS, MCA, CS, EC, okay, MBA, like that. 20, it is same, right? 25 is your name of the function, but how you are using is along with the package. That is how same function name can be used, but in a different package it is defined in a different way. Okay, so that is how the naming collision is also resolved. So this is what the use of package and what a package contains. Now we have to see what will be the different usages. Okay. Now I'll show you like how a package is used, and I'll tell you like what is the common way or a simple package is created in Java. And tomorrow we'll see how the access is controlled, and also how the naming collision will be resolved. And in a package, how the interfaces and the classes together will be used. Whatever the advantages we have written here, the same typical type of programs we will discuss. Okay. Now just I have already created one basic package. I'll show you that so that we can say what will be the steps. Okay. So here you see, you can just see here. I have slot 2 here, right? In this I have slot 2. Here whatever is written here, like slot 2 is a package. That is why in my all programs we have imported package slot 2. Here whatever is written here like a folder, it is the name of the package, and it is having its own all the Java files here. And I have written another one here. I have a Java file. Okay. So that means what? Whenever you are created a package, it is created a folder. Okay. It is created a folder. When I am using this package in slot2 folder, in another folder, I have to import this package. Okay. So now I'll show you that how to you have to create a packages like uh, like a class. What you will create? Sorry. Oh, and what I did. Okay, I'll come here. So here that is why it is given here list of packages. Okay, if I have to create a new package, you go here and you will have a package. It is a folder, right? So you have to create, and tomorrow I'll give test package 1. I'll give this. It is a name test package 1. I have created a package. Here I'll get a package, right? So if whatever the classes and interfaces I want to include, I can write here all the things. If I want to import this test package 1, I have to write a Java file here in test package, and I have to write command import test package 1 dot star. So all will be important. Or a required class or a method I can import by their name. Okay. So a package is created here in this. It is a folder. Under that, I can put all class files as well as the interfaces. Okay. So now a test package I have created in the similar manner. Here I have a compare.java is a file. I have what I have just named here. It is a package, and it is a test package. I have named it. And here I have written a class compare. What is that? I am comparing two numbers. That's all. Okay. I have written like two numbers I'll initialize, and I am finding out which is the maximum one. I'm printing that. I'm sending two numbers to here, and I'm checking which is maximum. So here in a main program, I have tested it. Okay, that's all it is. So you just think I have created a package where a compare class is available, which is going to compare two numbers, and it is going to say which is the maximum among those two numbers. So that is what the class available here. So I have created an object of that and send the values 8 and 18, and the maximum value is 18. Okay. So in a test package, a class compare is available, which is going to compare two numbers. Okay. So that is what they think. So now what is that in slot 2? I have written here package test is a slot 2. Okay. So here you see package test is there. Package test.java is in slot 2. In another slot 2 is another package, right? So here I have written this. So here it is just said package slot 2. I have imported import test package dot compare. Compare is a class which is a member of this test package. It is in a different folder. Okay, it is in a different folder. So I have imported this class to this Java file. So now what I did, I have written a class and I have created an object of that. Okay, and I have just checked, right? ಏನು ಬೇಡ, just what is that? I have written. Just call that. Okay, control that. Okay, so just call this one. Why we have to write this one? Not required. Parent dot get marks. Okay. Okay, so at a comparably int idanalla void get marks. Here we are printing. Okay, so I am running this program now. I have sent two values. It is going to give you which is the maximum value. Same ide. So make it as 100. Only to check that I have given there. That's all. Maximum value of two numbers is 100. Okay. So while creating a package, what you have to do, if you are declared like when you are writing a package, the first statement you have to write is package name. Since I am creating test package, when I am creating this package here, okay, so I've written any class, I just have to say package, the package name. Then I have to declare the class and save this as a Java file. Okay. So whenever you are compiling this program with this package like this will be created. In Eclipse you have this, like you can go here and you can create a package. So a folder will be created. In that folder you have to save all the Java files. So when you are writing another Java, when you want to use this package in another package, you have to use the keyword import package name and the class name or the method names that you can specify. Dot star anta koಟ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲದನ್ನು import ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay, so that's all. When you are doing that in a command mode, when you have included like import file like this in package test package, while compiling you have to use java -d and this file name. At that time a folder will be created. Okay, a folder will be created. Here manually we are creating a folder, then we are including the statement and we are writing a class. But there if you are written a file, that Java file, when you are compiling this file you have to use java -d. Okay, and then compare.java file name. Okay, so that a folder with the name test package will be created and stored, and this file is stored under this folder. This file is stored under this folder. Okay, so a package is like a different folders. So in the different folders you have different Java files, which Java classes, they are having so many methods. Okay, so those methods and these classes can be used in another folders. Okay, or to use there you have to write import package name and the class name or the method name, or if you give dot star everything will be imported to this. Okay, so this is what the name of the thing. So the steps and the usage I'll give. I will explain in the next class. Okay, if you have any doubts and other things, or still with some more example, we will understand the concepts. Kirtana is present. So when I'll call the attendance, at that time you have to present and you have to say. Anybody else, if it is there, you can just now only you can tell me. Okay, anybody else? Nagashri Kamath. So I will not upload the files. That is why whatever is manually or orally taken here, that attendance will be final. Anybody else? Sanjana. Now, where were you there when I'm asking and I'm calling? Where is Sanjana? Okay. Okay, so let me conclude.